Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. We are going to check out 5.4, where we're going to talk about how to write and solve proportions today. For our learning target, we have I can explain how to solve proportions. I'm going to show you, I think, like 3 different methods today on how to write and solve proportions. So hopefully one of them resonates with you and can help you figure out how to do these types of problems. Okay. The first type the first way that I'm going to teach you how to solve a proportion is using mental math, right? And really, the way that I do this is kind of like we talked about last section, but really, it's something that you've done before in your mathematical career. It says solve 3/2 is equal to what number over 8? Well, um, the way that I'm going to solve this using mental math is to think to myself, 2 times what number gives me 8? Okay, well, a bunch of you are probably saying 2 times 4, which is great. And if I multiply my denominator by 4, to keep this ratio proportionate, I need to multiply by 4 on the top as well, okay, to keep these values equal. So 3 times 4 would give me 12. Okay, so x is equal to 12 would be my answer. Okay, so just multiply your numerator by whatever you multiply your denominator by, and you can check that if you want. Right? We've got 3/2 is equal to 12 over 8. Last section we talked about using the cross products property to double check. Right? So that, or sometimes we call it the butterfly method. 3 times 8 is 24. And 12 times 2 is 24, so they are equal to each other. All right, go ahead and pause to try the 3 try it problems here to see if you can solve these proportions using mental math. Right, 5 times 4 is 20, so 8 times 4, you should get 32. The next one, 7 times 2 is 14. So what number times 2 would give us 10? Well, that would be 5. And then 24, how do I go from 24 to 8? Well, I divide by 3. So I'd also divide by 3 on top. 21 divided by 3 would give me 7. Let me know if you have questions on any of these. Next, we'll move on to using multiplication to solve these, and we're going to solve them kind of similar to how we solved equations back a couple of chapters ago. Okay, so it says solve 5/7 is equal to x over 21. Okay, so what I'm thinking is I know when we talked about equations, I can split an equation down the middle to give me a left-hand side and a right-hand side. And I want to know what x is. So to do that, I have to undo whatever is being done to x. So I need to undo dividing by 21 here, right? X is being divided by 21. So to do that, I would multiply by 21 on both sides, okay? So dividing by 21 and multiplying by 21 cancel each other out. Then I just need to take 21 and I need to multiply that by 5/7. Remember, 21 can be written as a fraction by just putting a 1 in the denominator. And then before I multiply, I will simplify. 7 and 21 have a common factor of 7. 7 divided by 7 is 1, and 21 divided by 7 is 3. And now I'll multiply across. 3 times 5 would give me 15 over 1 times 1 would give me 1. So this is equivalent to 15. All right. If I wanted to double check that, okay, 5 over 7, does that equal 15 over 21? Okay, well, do I multiply by 3 on top and bottom? Absolutely. So these are proportionate. You could also use cross products. You could take 5 times 21 and 7 times 15 and see if they equal each other. Okay, go ahead and try using this same method for the next 3 try it problems. Please pause the video now to try it yourself. All right, here W is being divided by 6, so I'll multiply by 6 on both sides. Okay, dividing by 6 and multiplying by 6 cancel out. I'll simplify first. 6 and 9 can both be divisible by 3. So 6 divided by 3 would be 2. 9 divided by 3 would be 3. That would give me 6 times 2 would give me 12 over 3 times 1 is 3. And 12 divided by 3 should give you 4. Okay, so W is equal to 4. Here is being divided by 15, so I multiply by 15 on both sides. Those cancel, and I have 15 over 1 times 12 over 10. First, I'm going to simplify, so divide by 5 on top and bottom would give me 2 and 3. And I've got 3 times 12, which would give me 36 over 1 times 2 is 2. And 36 divided by 2 would give me 18. So A is equal to 18 for number 5. And then for number 6, I've got Y over 10 is equal to 3/5. So to undo dividing by 10, I would multiply by 10 on both sides. Okay, simplify first. Divide by 5 would be 1, divide by 5 would be 2. And I would get 6 over 1, which is the same thing as 6. Okay. So that's another method. Now, is it right or is it wrong? No. You can do this method if you like this method. You could also use mental math if you like that method. I'm not saying you have to do it one way or the other. I'm just giving you lots of different ways to solve proportions. That's what I like about proportions, is that there's so many different ways to solve them. Lastly, we'll use another method, and we're going to use the cross products method this time. Okay, so I told you last section about how when you make your butterfly or use those cross products, use the cross product property that you can check to see if they're proportionate. We'll do the same here. Okay, so when I take x times 10, so I'm going to write that as x times 10, I know that needs to equal 7 times 8. Okay. Well, 10 times x is just 10x equals 56. And then in my last step, what do I solve for x here? It's being multiplied by 10, so I divide by 10 on both sides. Using a little mental math here, every time I divide by 10, I can just move my decimal one place to the left. So that would give me 5.6. Okay, now that would be a little bit tricky to do using mental math. So there's just another method that you can use. Again, cross products on letter B. I have to take y times 3, and that needs to equal 9 times 17. Okay. Well, y times 3 is 3y equals 9 times 17 would be 153. And then to solve for y, it's being multiplied by 3. To undo it, I would divide by 3 on both sides. So y equals 153 divided by 3 would give me 51. 3 goes into 15 5 times, and 3 goes into 3 1 time. So 51. Okay, go ahead and try pausing the video now to solve these proportions using the cross products method or the butterfly method. All right, let's check and see how you did. I've got 7 times x, which would give me 7x, equals 2 times 28. Okay, what is 2 times 28? Well, 2 times 30 would be 60. So let's see, 56. And divide by 7 on both sides. And x would give me, let's see, 8. So x is equal to 8 for number 7. The next one, I have 12 times y, it should be 12y, equals 5 times 6, which would be 30. Divide by 12 on both sides, and y equals 30 divided by 12 should give you 2.5, or 2.5. Right? 12 times 2 will be 24. And then there's 6 left over to get to 30, and my denominator is 12. So 6 12 simplifies to a half, or 0.5. Yeah. And then for number 9, we get a little bit trickier here. Okay, so pay close attention here. 40 times 6. Well, okay, I'll just write it out. 40 times 6 equals, okay, now I have z plus 1 times 15. Okay, z plus 1 times 15. And I'm going to write that like this. 15 times z plus 1. Okay, to multiply those two quantities together. So I'm going to do a little bit of distributing. Multiply 15 times z and also 15 times 1. I can do a little math on my left-hand side. 6 times 4 is 24, and bring that 0 along. Equals 15 times z would be 15z plus, it's not plus 1, remember you got to multiply that 15 times the 1 as well. All right, now I have a two-step equation. So remember, to solve a two-step equation, first we need to move this constant. So we need to subtract 15 on both sides first. Because we're undoing a math problem, we need to undo our addition or subtraction first. So I'll get 240 minus 15, and that'll give me 225, equals 15z. And then lastly, divide by 15 on both sides, and z equals 225 divided by 15, 15. That one is a bit more involved. Okay, so make sure when you're multiplying up here, you set it up and you multiply your 15 by both the z and the 1, and then it becomes a two-step equation. Okay, the last problem here for example 4, it says find the value of x so that the ratios 3 to 8 and x to 20 are equivalent. All right, so essentially we need to first write the ratio and then solve it. Or excuse me, write the proportion and then solve it using these ratios. Okay, so the first ratio is 3 to 8, so I can just write it as a fraction, 3 to 8. It needs to be equivalent to x to 20, so x over 20. Okay, and you can solve this any which way you would like. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to use the cross products. So 3 times 20 would give me 60. Needs to equal 8 times x. And then to solve this, I would divide by 8 on both sides. So 60 divided by 8 I would get x equals 7.5. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is just write the proportion, and then you can solve it. All right, finish up this section by pausing to do 10, 11, and 12 for the try it problems here. Right, so we should get 2 to 4 is equal to x over 6. Okay, well, this one I'm just going to use mental math. 2 is half of 4. So what number is half of 6? Well, that would be x is equal to 3. Right? 2/4 and 3/6 would be the same. They both would be simplified to a half. 11, I get x over 5 equals 8 over 2. Okay, I'm going to use the cross products property here. So x times 2 would be 2x equals 5 times 8 would be 40. I'll divide by 2 on both sides, and x is equal to 20. Check that. What is 20 divided by 5? That'd be 4. What is 8 divided by 2? Well, that'd be 4. So 4 equals 4. That is proportionate and equal. And last one, I've got 4 to 3 equal to 10 to x. Okay. You can go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and use the cross products again. So 3 times 10 is 30 equals 4 times x, which is 4x. And then to solve, I just need to divide by 4 on both sides. So 30 goes into 4 7 times, which is 28. And there's 2 left over to get to 30. So 2/4, which is the same thing as 7.5. Is equal to x, or 7.5. Alrighty, that does it for 5.4 and writing and solving proportions. Please let me know if I can help you out some more. I'll see you guys later.